back to another round of the Recruiting Corner. Joshua Zimmerman, David Frank, going to run you through this week's latest news in recruiting. How you doing?
Doing good. Glad to be back. Another week.
Another week. Sad weekend for us in the Bay Area, but it's okay. There's always next year.
Yeah, 49ers lost, but onwards and upwards. Got a good coach in Harbaugh, so I'm looking forward to next year already. All right, let's jump right to it. Lots of news this week coming down on signing day, February 1st, so a lot of moving and shaking. We'll get
Next
started.
Wednesday.
Get started with this big news coming from Georgia Tech. So Georgia Tech pulled a scholarship offer from three-star defensive end recruit Junior Gandhi, I think.
Sorry for the mispronunciation.
This is big news because this guy committed over 11 months ago. Was committed to Georgia Tech, assumed that he was in. Him and his coach tried to make sure he met the academic eligibility. Junior, by the way, 3.2 GPA and solid test scores. Still wasn't enough to get into Georgia Tech. What's the takeaway for our recruits?
The tough part is even though you have a great GPA, and his coach said it best when he said, well, I thought, looking at the sliding score, he was eligible to play Division I. Is that not good enough for Georgia Tech? And the answer is, it's not. Just because you have a great GPA doesn't mean that you're going to get into that particular institution. So as a recruit, you have to understand, make sure you understand the academic requirements of getting into the school. You can be an athlete, but you also have to be that student. So really understand what it's going to take to attend Georgia Tech, Florida, University of Georgia, anything like that.
Excellent, excellent. News coming from Villanova. So over on flowtrack.org, great running website, by the way. Somebody was upset. A Villanova athlete was asked to friend a monitoring software by the university. So basically, they want to be able to monitor his Facebook account for any foul language or keywords or something they need to know about. This is not the first time that a company has been asked to monitor student athletes, but it's an important topic to cover. So let's kind of go over some of what athletes should expect in terms of social media while they are at a university.
Definitely. So the software is Varsity Monitor, and you're going to start seeing a lot of different institutions do this. A lot of them already do. More of them are going towards it. What you have to understand as a recruit, you're an employee. You're an employee of that school. And just as an employer would want to know that you are keeping their company in the best graces, you represent that company as a student athlete. You represent that school as a student athlete. So these universities want to know that you are making them look as good as possible at all points in time. I don't disagree with the fact that schools are wanting to monitor these students because social media is out there. It's very easily accessible. And unfortunately, some student athletes don't think before they post. And so if you're thinking before you post, then even though a site is monitoring your situation, you shouldn't be getting yourself into too much trouble.
Right, and this all boils down to last year. University of North Carolina got in trouble from the NCAA for, specifically, they said, failure to monitor social media. So get used to it. If you want to be an NCAA athlete or even NAIA, get used to your social media being monitored and get comfortable with that.
Start thinking.
All right, out of last week, so last week we covered a lot of news from the NCAA. One topic we didn't get to and I want to get to this week is the changes to Division II recruiting. Big news coming out of Division II recruiting. Josh, why don't you give us a rundown?
So basically, Division II, all the presidents met, ADs, and they decided that students are able to start thinking about schools and start selecting schools as juniors. They want to be able to start recruiting those athletes as well. So now, June 15th, after your sophomore year, schools can start recruiting you, coaches can start contacting you, and that June 15th date is a set date for all sports. Where it used to kind of switch around, different sports had different dates, they went to a set date for all sports. The other side of that with the contacting is there is an unlimited amount of contact that coaches can have. Normally when you deal with Division I, it's very strict on when coaches can and can't contact you as an athlete. Now, completely unlimited. If a coach wants to call you 10 times a day, they're allowed.
Yep, that's big news. It's just going to bump up the recruiting timeline for everybody, Division II, Division I, everything. So if you aren't starting early, you need to start earlier now. Okay, next topic. Shaq Thompson, huge defensive back recruit, and Kyle Kalis, really huge offensive lineman recruit.
Very big guy.
both had their recruiting process impacted by Twitter in different ways. Why don't you go ahead and explain what happened and kind of the takeaway where you see Twitter impacting recruiting in the
Definitely.
future?
So basically, Shaq Thompson decided that he was going to release on Twitter his school list. He was looking at a couple different schools. He decided to go ahead and add USC into that mix as well. Unfortunately, the backlash or the fact that people didn't take him seriously on Twitter, he automatically recanted that statement. Oh, if people aren't going to take me seriously, then, it is what it is. The fact is, when you put something out there, people are going to have opinions about it. Again, it's a public forum, so you have to be careful with that situation. With Kyle Kalis, he pretty much committed to Ohio State, decommitted once Tressel left, went and committed to Michigan, which obviously there's a border war there, very, very, very tough. And he's taken a lot of flack for it as well, for the fact that he lives in Ohio, and you just don't do that. And so now he's getting all sorts of threats and everything via social media as well. And he's huge, 6'5", 300 plus pounds. He pretty much gave out his address, said, if you have a problem, here's my address, come see me about it. And from what he says, no one's taken him up on that offer. But the situation with the social media, again, is it's all about thinking. You have to understand, if I put my opinion out there, people are going to say something about it. And when you're in the public like that, you're a little more scrutinized. And so you have to be even more careful about what you're doing. And social media and recruiting is becoming a very, very hot topic.
Yeah. All right. Wanted to throw some love to our NAIA friends. Today, by the way, NAIA.org is launching their brand new website. So go check it out. We'll have the links in the show notes. Josh, what's going to be new with the site?
Basically, the NAIA, and don't mind, I'm going to read these. They're basically saying that it's an increased focus on the NAIA student-athlete experience with character-driven athletics. They're trying to integrate membership resources with the same site for better access. They want enhanced visibility for each championship, real-time school and conference searches in Google Maps, which is really beneficial to those looking at NAIA programs, real-time lists of participating schools, and improved video and audio capabilities. So basically an overall user experience. They've really improved it. They spent the last year developing this website, so it should be pretty neat.
Yep, definitely. Go check it out. Okay, Facebook question of the week coming from Jordan on our Facebook page at Athnet. He wants to know, I've been emailing coaches through your database, which if you don't know what our database is, find out, contact us.
info@athleticscholarships.net.
He's been contacting coaches, emailing them through our database, and he's not hearing anything back. What does he do?
Unfortunately, Jordan, you're not doing enough. We're glad that you like the database. We're glad you're using the database. It's a fantastic tool. But emailing a coach one thing or one email telling them about you isn't enough. Try following up with a phone call. Try writing some more emails. It's going to take more than one email to get a coach's attention, especially since you play football, and they're the hardest coaches to get contact with.
Yep, exactly. All right, that wraps up most of the topics we want to cover. Josh, what are you doing this weekend?
I am actually going to be relaxing this weekend. Maybe some surfing, but definitely relaxing. Yourself?
Same deal. We've got beautiful weather this weekend on the West Coast. It's going to be 70 and sunny, not your typical winter. So I'll be outside enjoying my weekend.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. As always, you can contact us at JZimmy67, at David R. Frank. If you want to talk to Athnet, at Athnet, Facebook, just Athnet. Have a great one.
Thanks, guys.